Too much stress will put you to rest for good. What is stress and how does it affect you? Is stress keeping you down, keeping you from reaching your goals? If you want to know how stress is holding you back and what to do about it, stay tuned. Hello, this is Raymond Edison, MD, your digital doctor, admitting you to the channel where we show you how to take charge of your health. Welcome. If you've never been here before, welcome back if you have. Now let's explain a little bit about stress, the different types of stress. My years in medicine have taught me this. Stress is the most common reason people seek medical attention, whether they realize it or not. It's the most complicating factor in most medical conditions. If it could be controlled, most complex and aggravating conditions would be much easier to treat. That's a bold statement, Doc, you say. That's right. I'm a bold guy, but it's true. So let's explore this. First, let's see how normal functions of the body that involve stress act and are supposed to act. Now let's go back in time a little bit. Long time ago, far, far away, you're foraging through the forest, looking for your favorite wild blueberries that you like to nibble on. Suddenly, you come into a clearing and you spot a saber-toothed tiger in the distance, but too close for comfort. Right about the same time, he spots you. You stare at each other and you freeze for a moment. Immediately, before you decide what you're going to do, your body has already dialed 911 and is rushing to release surges of hormones, epinephrine, cortisol, to prepare you for fight or flight. Your body's pushing out hormones to prepare you for whatever decision you make, fight or flight. You'll need extra energy for whatever you decide to do. You're not looking for berries anymore. It comes down to this. You stand there and you perish. You fight. You don't have any weapons. You're not as strong as fast as a tiger. You perish. You run. You might perish, but you give yourself a chance to live. In a fraction of a second, you size up the situation and decide what to do, because now you run faster than you ever have before in your life. And somehow you escape, just barely. Even after the danger is gone, you're still hyped up. You get back to your village and you're telling what a close call you had. You're bouncing up and down. Wow, that was close. But I did this, I did that. I tricked him this way, that way. What happens today is a little different. Quiet stress that you're under on this job that you were hired for and are performing well, at least in your mind, but you get a little tension from being mistreated, overlooked in a subtle way, not a way you can shout out about, in a way where they have easy deniability. Your presentation, plan saved the company money, but somebody else gets the credit. You're up for partner, but someone else gets picked over you. That little subtle tension, of not being in the right clique. Those bills that you have, those bills and debts are rising faster than you can address them. So that's on your mind. You're taking care of your elderly parent who wants more time and attention than you have available. So that's making you stressed and a little guilty. Your youngest kid's grades have dropped because of tension at school. Your best friend is dumping all of their problems on you, looking for you to help solve them for the umpteenth time when all your concerned advice goes out the window. You know what I'm talking about. These situations, instead of surges in cortisol, epinephrine, you get little spikes, little levels that are, instead of coming back down to normal, they stay elevated. So it's putting a little tension and stress on your body, a low level of excitement. And you have no outlet for this because the culture fills you with guilt if you are unable to perform in the satisfactory manner. You can't solve all these problems and somehow you're weak. Only relief you get is a drug to help you relax that can become addictive. So now your survival system has been hijacked. Instead of fight or flight, you've got argue or walk away. Same thing. And this system is like a slow, smoldering volcano, not erupting, but not dormant. Because this system was designed to be an all or nothing, all for all. You run, fight, or die, that type of situation. It wasn't designed to be run at half speed, a third speed, or slow walk all the time on a chronic basis. That's the kind of stress that we're dealing with today. So what can we do to make the stress go away? You ready? Nothing, not a thing. It's completely unavoidable. If you don't have stress, it's probably because you're not breathing. So doc, then all is lost. We're doomed. Hold on a minute. If you can't avoid it, you can control it. Take charge. These are the things you can do to control stress. Or should I say, there are things you can do to control stress. Plenty of things. Well, if you can't avoid stress, why do you need to control it? Because whatever problem you have, small or large, becomes worse with stress. When you stress about it, you magnify it. You 2x it, 5x it, even 10x it. You see, you can control how you see things. And that's the key. One person feels that same stress on the job. They feel that feeling of unfairness. They don't really appreciate me here. Good God, what am I going to do? Another person says, well, maybe this ain't the place for me. Maybe I need to be looking elsewhere. Or maybe I can do this or do that creatively. Those bills piling up. Oh, woe is me. I don't have the money to pay all these bills. What am I going to do? Other person looks at it. Oh, my bills are getting out of hand. I need to call some creditors, make some arrangements, juggle some things around, or maybe I even need more income so I can work around this problem. That elderly parent that you don't have the time for, if you handle that stress right, you can get help, probably not from the rest of the family because that's how families do. 12 of them and only one actually does work, but 11 complain. So you find a solution. You can enlist people part-time. You do things to help lighten that load on you where you and that parent can both be comfortable. You don't think about that when you're saying, oh, woe is me. Life is unfair to me. that kid that's having problems in school because of issues, you take that as an opportunity to concentrate on that kid's problems and look for solutions and encourage them that mommy, daddy has problems too, and this is how you deal with problems. You don't let it affect your grades. Just showing you these scenarios is how you think. It's how you accept these problems or not accept them. You see, when a stress comes to you, if you see it as a problem, a fight or flight type thing, that's the only system you have, is fight or flight. So even if it's not all out fight, all out run, even if it's low level, your body is going to respond based on how you see it. Because when you were walking in the woods and you didn't see that tiger, you were fine until you saw it. So your body will respond to stress based on how you respond. And once you respond to it as a problem, then up comes cortisol, up comes epinephrine, and now it's a problem. So how do you change that? You got to change it from being a problem to a challenge. Think about it differently. That's all. The people who deal with problems, go through life successfully in all aspects, they're no different biologically, genetically than you. It's just they rearrange these issues in their mind. Instead of a problem, it's a challenge. You know, I've never climbed a mountain, but I could look up at a mountain and say, my God, not only can I not do this, why in the world would I ever want to do this? There are people who say, I'm going to climb this mountain. They're going to do it one step at a time for the sense of achievement. If I changed my mind and decided to do that, then I would train accordingly, get myself ready, prepared for that, and do it. So if you want to handle and manage the stresses that are inevitable in your life, you've got to find a way to change the way you think about it. And that friend that's always dumping the garbage on you, maybe that person shouldn't be in your life. If you can't stand up and say, look, I don't want to hear it, if you think that's too rude, then you got to just avoid them. I'm busy. I don't have time. Even if you get ready to take a nap. So the key is to avoid that slow panic when you see that situation as a problem. And that's one of the most difficult things to get people to do. As simple as it sounds, it's difficult. But just because it's difficult to do doesn't mean that you shouldn't give it a try. You know, when you were learning how to read, just learning your ABCs, to give you a book on quantum physics or calculus would have been very difficult and almost impossible. A few ABCs later, a few books years later, you can tackle it. Now, in terms of problems, I think I have an advantage in that respect. Being a physician and seeing down through the years all kind of problems that people have, it's sort of conditioned me to be grateful, thankful that I don't have some of the problems I've seen in people my age, younger, etc. In fact, I've told people who are depressed about their problems and say, well, your problem's really not that bad. I know you're the only one you know that has it, but you don't know like I do. If you want to see some real problems, follow me around for a day or two. I'll show you some problems. But I've also found that it's not necessarily the severity of the problem that makes the difference. I've observed different outcomes in people with similar problems, severe problems, based on the attitude. And I've seen people with problems that should easily have been resolved, but they freaked out, stressed out over it, and and still had complications way beyond what was necessary or usual. So you kind of have to believe that you can handle anything. Doesn't matter if that's true. You just have to feel that way. You don't have to know how. You just have to feel that way. When you get into the area of professional sports, you're dealing with a minority of a minority of a minority. When you get to the professional level, whatever sport is in, you have weeded out hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of people. And those athletes at that elite championship level, their skills are not that different. There's not that much difference between their ability, their skills, etc. The difference in that situation comes down to their mind. Haven't you seen the game where one guy who's okay, good, but not the star, just take over the game and win almost single-handedly in a team sport? Because that day he decided, I'm the best. It didn't matter that he won or not. He thought he was the best. And he played like he was the best. And he won. So you have to think like that. Out of all the people that came down through the generations that were part of the makeup of you, that had to reproduce before they died in order for you to be like you are. When you think about that, all of us are in a very elite class. I don't care if it's 7 or 8 billion of us on the planet. There's that many more that didn't make it. For whatever reason, this didn't work right, abortion, whatever. So you have to feel like you're one of the best. And if Joe Blow can do it, I can do it. So think about the problems you have now, the stresses on your life. What if you decided you're bigger than those problems? You're the new sheriff in town. You would also win. So now that you know the evils of stress, what stress can do to you, and that you can't make it go away, you have to manage it. In the next video, we'll explore some techniques you can use to specifically manage stress. Keep it from going to a panic level, from taking you all the way to that fight or flight scenario at high speed, whereas the stress has you on low speed. So remember, now that you know, we'll see you in the next video where you can learn how to take action. Don't forget to put up the likes and the comments and subscribe so you can be notified when future videos come out. This is Dr. Raymond Edison, your digital doctor, signing off. And for now, you're discharged.